pay. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise is here. Majority Leader Scalise, thank you very much for joining us. We are concerned about our military friends and family. What can you tell them about their pay? Will it continue and will they be paid?
Well, Sandra and John, we all ought to be concerned that our men and women in uniform that do such an incredible job keeping our family safe and defending our country's freedoms are out there doing their work, and many of them are not sure whether or not they're going to get paid because the Democrats shut down the government. You know, it's why we passed the bill over a month ago through the House to pay everybody, all federal employees, and open the government. But as you know, Democrats in the Senate, because of the 60-vote requirement, are keeping it shut down over and over 13 times now. Democrats have joined together to appease their socialist base that frankly wants to defund cops, defund the military. They voted to deny that pay, and it's hurting real families. It's hurting not only our men and women in uniform, air traffic controllers, you're seeing flight delays, food stamps. I mean, families, 42 million families are about to lose their food stamp benefits starting this weekend. That's real pain. Also, that Democrats can get what they call, quote unquote, leverage to go show their base that they're fighting Donald Trump. It's insane.
You know, on that point of the food stamps, I just want to put this map up because your home state of Louisiana is among the highest in terms of per capita reliance on food stamps. So that's obviously a big issue for you. But I want to come back to this issue of military pay, because our men and women in uniform, many of them deployed overseas, as we saw with the president yesterday, have to rely on not a whole lot of pay and sometimes to feed an entire family. Median pay for our military is $52,000 a year. 27% of military families carry more than $10,000 in credit card debt. That's 2 times what the average is for civilians. And over 25% of our military members have less than $500 in emergency savings. So, Mr. Leader, if they miss a paycheck, they don't have much to rely on.
Yeah, John, it's that dire. You know, we've seen numbers, you know, from the Department of Defense. Over a third of our men and women in uniform live paycheck to paycheck. And Democrats are right now denying them that next paycheck. You know, thank goodness President Trump worked incredibly hard to find money in other pots to move that money around to pay them this last paycheck. But those other pots of money are running dry. And so short of getting the government reopened, there's a threat that those men and women in uniform, like other federal employees, won't get paid. And that when they don't get paid, by the way, their mortgages still due. You know, their car notes still due. They still need to put food on the table for their family. It's devastating. And you got these Democrats running around. They can't even articulate why they've shut the government down. They just know their base hates Donald Trump, and they're upset they lost the election. Well, they've got to get over their tantrum and stop hurting real families. Stop hurting our men and women in uniform. It's disgraceful. Well, we know that a large percentage of the population is also receiving food benefits, SNAP benefits. We've got a map of the American population that receives these, a large portion of in the state of Louisiana, Mr. Leader. We just spoke to the USDA secretary, and she said that the benefits will end Saturday. Here's Brooke Rollins at the top of the hour. Listen.
I don't understand what they're thinking. Well, I guess we know what they're thinking because Catherine Clark in their leadership actually said, you know, we're going to use poor, vulnerable people for leverage. I mean, shame on them. Our food stamp recipients are not going to get their benefit beginning Saturday.
I mean, she said that the well has run dry, that they can no longer continue to issue those benefits. I mean, the American people are watching this play out, and I don't know if you're not being, you know, in the military, not receiving your paycheck, you're not getting your SNAP benefits, and you need to feed your family. You're not looking at Democrats, Republicans. You're just saying, you know, I need my benefits. I need my pay. What do you say to the American people who are reaching peak frustration here, Mr. Leader?
Yes, Andrew, the people that are being denied their pay right now, many of them have to go to work. You know, you think about an air traffic controller, they have to go to work or planes fall out of the sky, and yet they're working without pay. Some of them are Uber drivers on the side in a very high stress job just because they've got to put food on the table. And then you look at what's going on with the SNAP program. I mean, you know, you mentioned Sandra, Louisiana, 700,000 people in my home state would be impacted by those SNAP benefits running dry that Secretary Rollins talked about. 42 million nationwide. I mean, these are real families that are going to be devastated this weekend. It's not some hypothetical, maybe one day down the road. It's this weekend. And there's a vote. There's a bill that funds these programs You vote yes or no to fund these programs, and right now you can go see the vote. We only need 5 Democrats in the Senate to come to their senses and vote yes, and the bill passes, but they won't. They've been hell-bent on keeping the government shut down, and there's no reason for it. It's totally unnecessary, but their party is morally bankrupt right now. They're about to elect a socialist mayor in New York, and they're more afraid of their Marxist, socialist, left base than they are caring about these families who are really struggling so that they can use it, as you mentioned, for leverage.
If you could just give us maybe a couple of words on this, Mr. Leader, a question I get asked literally every day by viewers. When's this going to end?
I think it ends soon because families are getting fed up. Families are really going to start suffering in a very real way. Again, 42 million people losing food stamps this weekend. It's not somewhere down the road.
Yeah, well, the rubber's
It's gotta
hitting the
end.
road. The rubber's hitting the road, that's for sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.